Hi everyone, so the mainstream media this morning are orgasming just all over the place. It's just a collective multiple orgasm by them all because Donald Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, has pled guilty to violating finance laws. This will be the payment that he allegedly made to Stormy Daniels, a porn star. I just can't believe you couldn't make this story up. You couldn't make it up. Only in America. The alleged payment that Cohen made to the porn star that Donald Trump allegedly boinked 10 years ago, he's pled guilty to it because it's a violation of campaign finance rules, apparently. So we're going to go to the BBC for this, just to give you some, Trump's lawyer pleads guilty to this law, as I've just said to you. BBC got to put Russia in the title. Can't help themselves. Got to put Russia in the title. Got nothing to do with Russia, but hey. First paragraph is wrong as well in the BBC's headline, in the BBC's article. US President Donald Trump's ex-lawyer Michael Cohen is said to be more than happy to speak to the inquiry into alleged collusion with Russia. The inquiry, the BBC, you absolute showers of shit, is not into alleged collusion with Russia. The inquiry, may I remind you, BBC, you arse gravy of an outlet, the inquiry is into alleged interference in the 2016 election. Not alleged collusion. Arseholes. Cohen pleaded guilty on Tuesday to violating finance laws during the 2016 presidential election by handling hush money from Mr. Trump's alleged lovers. Cohen is ready to tell everything about Trump that he knows, he said. His personal lawyer said about him. Mr. Trump tweeted that Cohen had made up the stories in order to get a deal. The president denies that there was any collusion with Russia to get him elected. Quote, if anybody is looking for a good lawyer, I would strongly suggest that you don't retain the services of Michael Cohen, he said on Twitter. That was quite funny, actually. Cohen's lawyer, Lanny Davis, said his client has knowledge of whether Donald Trump knew in advance about the computer hacking which undermined his opponent, Hillary Clinton. Wasn't computer hacking that undermined his opponent. It wasn't the computer hacking that undermined his opponent. How many times have I got to say this? It was the DNC emails, the content in them, that undermined Hillary Clinton. It wasn't the hacking. The hacking didn't undermine the opponent. What was in the fucking emails did. Jesus Christ, the way they spin this is just awful. It really is. Cohen also has knowledge, I don't like Donald Trump and I'm here defending him. That's how crap the media is. Cohen also has knowledge, Mr. Davis said, of a meeting at Trump Tower in New York in June 2016 between the Trump campaign aides and a Russian delegation which was promised political dirt. This is the Donald Trump Jr. thing. Oh, excellent, he said when they said he'd got dirt on Hillary Clinton. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing illegal with that. It's illegal if they have a quid pro quo, but as it turns out, she wanted to talk about something totally different. We've heard this story over and over again. There's no collusion there, for fuck's sake. It's a fairy tale. The lawyer was also asked why the US president, who was not named in Cohen's plea of guilt, should not be prosecuted for the crimes Cohen has confessed to committing on his behalf. And there's his tweet. If anyone is looking for a good lawyer, I would strongly suggest that you don't return the services of Cohen. That's gold, that is. Cohen's guilty plea came on the same day that a jury convicted former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort of bank and tax fraud charges. Okay, BBC, it would have been nice to you to add there. These charges had nothing to do with Donald Trump and were nothing to do with his campaign either. But hey, best not to put that in. Otherwise, people will get the right idea and get all the information. Arseholes they are. At a rally on Tuesday, Mr. Trump attacked the suggestion that his campaign had colluded with Russia, telling his audience in West Virginia, where is the collusion? I'll come to that video in a minute. I'll show you what he said, because it's actually, I can't believe it. I'm sticking up for him here. I hate the guy. I can't stand Donald Trump, but he's been treated unfairly here. So the BBC, will Cohen talk to Mueller, they say. There is no confirmation that he will speak to the Russia inquiry, which, under former FBI Director Robert Mueller, is tasked with establishing whether the Trump campaign conspired with Russia to swing the election in Mr. Trump's favour. Is it Or is that just one of the things in it? Because what it's actually tasked with is, as I've said before, identifying any interference in the 2016 election. This is quite clear. But they have manipulated it to actually say something different in the media. The well-documented meeting at Trump Tower between Mr. Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., and a Russian lawyer is a focus of the Mueller inquiry. It's also a focus of my investigations as a result of the great work by Lee Stranahan and Garland Nixon, who I think are really excellent. That meeting could well have something to do with Bill Browder. I've got to look into it, but it makes a lot of sense. That theory does. Bill Browder and the Majinsky Act. If you don't know anything about that, just follow Lee Stranahan on Twitter. He'll tell you all about it. He's done some good work. Mr. Trump Jr. went to the meeting in the belief that he would be offered, quote, official documents and information that would incriminate Mrs. Clinton. Again, nothing illegal about that, unless there was a quid pro quo there. Later that summer, embarrassing emails and documents hacked from the DNC server were made public through WikiLeaks and similar channels. No, they weren't hacked from the DNC. If they were hacked from the DNC, we would know that they were hacked from the DNC. A hack of the DNC took place, for sure. There were probably hundreds of hacks on the DNC. Experts have said, they said beforehand, the DNC's cyber security is like Swiss cheese, I think I heard Julian Assange say. It's like Swiss cheese. A 6-year-old could hack into it. Of course they were hacked. But that's not where the emails came from. That's a lie, that is. It's just a lie. There's no evidence at all to back that up. The BBC are lying to you. Donald Trump Sr. has denied knowing in advance about the meeting, which he nonetheless defended as, quote, a meeting to get information on an opponent, totally legal and done all the time in politics. And if that's the case, then he is absolutely correct. And this is what this plea deal is all about. Porn star Stormy Daniels said she had been paid $130,000 by Cohen just days before the 2016 election to keep quiet about an affair she says she had a decade earlier with Trump, 10 years before he even ran for president. It's got nothing to do with the presidency, nothing to do with Russia. Yet, hey, it's the title of the BBC headline. Look, they've got to mention Russia in it. This is to do with payments to a porn star. Not even a good one. Cohen also recorded a conversation with Mr. Trump. Don't ask me how I would know that. Cohen also recorded a conversation with Mr. Trump 2 months before the election in which they discussed buying the rights to a kiss and tell story by former Playboy model Cameron McDougal. God, he's boinking women all over the place, isn't he? Who says she had an affair with Mr. Trump. Honestly, most men, if they're anything like the people in the UK, the men I know in the UK, most men in America would be like, fair play to him. If I was a billionaire, I'd be doing it too. Undisclosed payments to very embarrassing stories about political candidates can be treated as a violation of US campaign finance laws, and that's basically why he is being indicted, because it could be in breach of the finance laws. This is what Donald Trump had to say about it, and I do like the way he just brushes this off. It is quite, you know, I am in awe of the way he just brushes off these scandals as if they're nothing.
Fake news and the Russian witch hunt. We got a whole big combination. Where is the collusion? You know, they're still looking for collusion. Where is the collusion? Find some collusion. We want to find the collusion. This has nothing to do with Russian collusion. This started as Russian collusion. This has absolutely nothing to do. This is a witch hunt and it's a disgrace. This has nothing to do what they started out, looking for Russians involved in our campaign. There were none.
And he's right. And that's the thing. And this is what they have built this up to be. Remember, he's Putin's puppet. He's a Kremlin stooge. Or Russia are the bad guy here. And let's, spend an extra $100 billion on defense to defend ourselves from the Russians. Should we have paper ballots so we could stop any... No, forget the paper ballots. Just give the military another $100 billion. This is pathetic. It really is. And Donald Trump there, as much as I hate to admit it, because like I say, I can't stand the man. I think he's dangerous for the world. He's right. 100% right. Where's the collusion? There is none. There's no collusion. It's a ridiculous fairy story. And you've all lost your collective little minds in the media. Why is it only independent media are the ones that are saying, come on guys, this is ridiculous? Independent media on the left and the right, all across the spectrum, all saying the same thing. Now, if there's some illegal payment here to a porn star, I'm going to be shocked if this is the end of his presidency and he gets impeached over this and they actually find him guilty. If he gets impeached, they've still got to find him guilty, remember. And he won't get impeached at the moment. So the Democrats better hope that they take back the House and the Senate in November, because otherwise they're just not going to... The Republicans are not going to impeach Donald Trump because he paid off a porn star. They're just not. And neither should they. I'm with them. This is a nonsense. And it's more hyperbole from the media in their Russia fixation. And it's pathetic. It really is. If Michael Cohen's done something wrong and he's been pressured by Mueller to take a deal, fine, we'll see what he has to say. But I am going to be shocked to the core if it's got anything to do with Russia and he has anything incriminating to say about Donald Trump and in connection with Russia. Because if you ask me, there's no evidence to say that there's anything to do with Russia there. None at all. And furthermore, this is why what I always keep coming back to with this nonsense and the media just ejaculating all over the screen about Russia and their attempts to prove collusion with Russia. This is the thing that pisses me off the most. If you want to find evidence of an election being rigged and an election being swung in 2016, don't look at Trump. Look at the DNC. And remember, this all came from Hillary Clinton and the DNC. This Russia excuse came from them. It's who they presented it. And the media, we know, are tightly knit with the DNC, especially MSNBC. We know how tightly knit they are. WikiLeaks have showed us that. It was in the emails. And that's the thing. The emails are the focus here. What was in the content of the emails is important. The supposed hack, that's not important at all. And the way they're spinning it is, to be quite honest, a disgrace to journalism. And even just that one little article by the BBC, as I showed you, there was several errors in there. They just cannot get their facts straight at all because they're blinded by Russia. That's all they care about. And it's really, really getting on my tits, to be quite honest. I'm betting that it's getting on your tits too. If you enjoyed this video, please click the bell down there and subscribe so you get a notification of next time I drop a video. Also, I can't do this without your help, so if you can afford it and you enjoy my videos, please support the channel by subscribing to my Patreon. Link is down there. You can do it for as little as $1 a month, and it really does help. If you can't afford it, that's fine. Please share my work and talk to other people about the issues that I bring up. Thanks very much for your support. Until next time, peace and take care.